A few months ago I purchased the Mongoose XR Pro from Walmart, a bike some say is a custom build waiting to happen. Today we're going to find out, because this is Project XR, Stage 1. I think everyone I know has ridden the XR Pro in its factory form, and the results are mixed, but everyone has one opinion, and that's that the XR Pro needs upgrades to be a decent bike. XR Pro theory has it that for $1,000 to $1,200 you can have a bike that competes with $2,000 to $2,500 full suspension offerings from bigger brands. That may or may not be debatable, but a few select upgrades can most definitely step up the XR Pro's game, and make it a decent bike to ride on trails. For quite a while I left you guys hanging on a teaser image of a new shock mounted on the XR, and the reason it took so long is that it took 4 attempts before I got a functional shock. And that's not because the shock was defective, it's because they kept sending the wrong thing. One time they didn't even send anything at all. If you plan on starting your own XR project, know that you'll likely need to come up with a custom solution for mounting your rear shock. The factory shock has a narrow mount and it uses large spacers to fill the void. And those factory spacers are too big for most aftermarket shocks, so I had to find alternatives. I was able to find some nylon spacers at Ace Hardware for less than $1 that worked perfectly for my needs. My solution not only shed a gram or two by losing the factory spacer assembly, but it also looks like it was made to be there. Speaking of weight, the XR Pro is anything but a light bike. It weighs 39.6 pounds from the factory, so you're going to want to jump at any chance to reduce that. The factory shock weighs in at 520 grams. The new shock sheds 180 grams from that. There are even more weight savings with my next upgrade, because I swapped out the 6.6 pound Suntour XCT fork for a U-Ding fork that weighs 4.3 pounds. By the way, if you have an XR Pro and you decide to run the factory fork, make sure you take it out and check the steer tube for metal shavings. Mine was covered in slag from the frame manufacturing process. I also used this as an opportunity to ditch that 90mm zoom stem for something shorter. When I found the True Active 40mm monstrosity, I was sold. Plus it sheds another 100 grams off the bike. Project XR is all about maximum performance per dollar upgrades, so I went with non-premium brands in an effort to keep costs as low as possible while still meeting the end goal. And I think I pulled it off because the bike certainly looks the part. Perhaps if Mongoose had equipped the bike with these components from the factory, they wouldn't have felt the need to scribble over their name. Let's look at the components that make up my Stage 1 setup. They start with the rear shock, which is a D&M 36RC 165mm. This is an air shock that features a rebound adjustment and a lockout. Remember, you'll probably need to modify spacers if you use a different factory shock, but here's my handiwork. Up top, that True Active stem is obnoxiously awesome and very visible. And I also went with some gaudy transparent FSA spacers just to keep things tacky. Moving down to the front suspension, I went with a U-Ding UD32. And this fork features 120mm of travel, has a manual lockout, and it's also an air fork, and that's how it's able to shed some weight. The factory tires were less than stellar, and traction was one of the biggest complaints people had with the bike, so I swapped those out for a set of Michelin Wild Rocker 2 29x2.35s. For Stage 1, I think I have a decent setup, but on the trail I quickly learned that it is better, but the bike's still heavy. It weighs in at 36.4 pounds, so climbing hills, for me, is still not that fun on the XR Pro. But I don't particularly enjoy climbing on any bike, so I can't overly critique the XR in this area. Climbing aside, one thing that's instantly noticeable is the controllability, and that's because it's better. The new stem puts me more in a position that I feel like I need to be in, and that fork may have also slightly changed the setup. Whatever it is, it's working, because I no longer dislike riding the XR Pro. Still not a fan of non-G2 29ers in general, and this setup won't convert me, but it is a noticeable improvement. One area that caught me off guard is the new tires. And it's not an off guard in a traction sort of way because they do increase traction, but they do it in a quick grip and grab way. They grip fast and with little feedback will easily dig in and bite. If you're not expecting it, even when going slow, it can catch you off guard. The biggest change is obviously the new suspension in both the front and the rear. The rear no longer feels like a pogo stick, and I was able to get it dialed in right away. Things are nice and smooth in the back, and with the added tire traction, it's a good combo. But the real surprise comes with that UD32 air fork. It's amazingly smooth, and the loss of over 2 pounds up front is instantly noticeable. Plus, I'm going to go on record and say that this may be the most responsive and smooth front suspension I've ever ridden. And I need smooth because I shouldn't even be on the trail. I'm nursing a strained ligament. That said, every bump is a test of the new suspension, and my body is ready to give an instant analysis on how smooth the bumps are and if the suspension is being overwhelmed. The more I ride this thing, the better it gets. I'll admit that I'm not pushing it hard. I'll see to that in a few weeks with stage 2 and when I'm healed up. But it is impressive nonetheless. I've taken a $350 Walmart Mongoose, and for under $700, I have a bike that arguably rides as well as a $1,500 full suspension. I know a few of you are thinking it, and a fair question would be, how long will these off-brand components hold up? We'll see, because the XR Pro is my most loaned out bike. Because of that, it gets more trail time than any of my bikes, so the components are going to get a workout. For stage 1, I'm impressed, and I think I have a good foundation for a great build. Let's run down the costs thus far. The Husfeld True Active Stem, $30. The FSA Spacer Kit, $5. The Michelin Wild Rocker 2 tires I scored a great deal on, the set for $30. The Uding UD32 Air Fork, $149. And the D&M 36RC Air Shock, $63. For stage 2, I'm going to be tackling the drivetrain, doing something with those noisy and grindy disc brakes, and looking for some lightweight wheels, so stay tuned for that. That's Project XR Stage 1. Let me know what you think. Be sure to subscribe and click the notification icon so you don't miss anything. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.